नमस्ते बिटिया, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया. A very good morning to you all. Myself, JVM Dr. Ravi Jain, Assistant Professor, Department of Practice of Medicine at Faculty of Homeopathic Science in Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. In today's topic, we are going to discuss about underwater problems like deep sea diving. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about high altitude sickness. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about deep sea problems. Drowning and near drowning. Drowning is the most common disorder due to which many children lose their life every year. Drowning is defined as the death due to asphyxiation following immersion in a fluid. Near drowning is defined as survival for longer than 24 hours after suffocation by immersion. Drowning remains a common cause of accidental death throughout the world and is particularly common in young children. The clinical features of drowning. Those rescued alive, that is near drowning, are often unconscious and not breathing. Hypoxemia and metabolic acidosis are inevitable features. Acute lung injury usually resolves rapidly over 48 to 72 hours unless infection occurs. Complications include dehydration, hypotension, hemoptysis, rhabdomyolysis, renal failure, and cardiac arrhythmias. Severely ill develops acute respiratory distress syndrome, that is ARDS. The management of drowning or near drowning. Outcome depends on the severity of the cerebral hypoxic injury and is predicted by the duration of immersion, delay in resuscitation, intensity of acidosis, and the presence of cardiac arrest. Initial management requires cardiopulmonary resuscitation with administration of oxygen and maintenance of circulation. It is important to clear the airway of foreign bodies and protect the cervical spine. Continuous positive airway pressure, that is CPAP, should be considered for spontaneously breathing patients with oxygen saturation of less than 94%. Prophylactic antibiotics are only required if the exposure was to obviously contaminated water. Diving-related illnesses. Most of the diving illnesses is related to the changes in barometric pressure and its effect on the gas behavior. As the divers descend, the partial pressure of the gases they are breathing increases. The blood and the tissue concentrations of the dissolved gases rise accordingly. Nitrogen is a weak anesthetic agent and increased inspiratory pressure produces narcosis, resulting in impairment of the cognitive function and manual dexterity, not unlike alcohol intoxication. For divers deeper than approximately 30 meters sea water, the mixtures of oxygen with nitrogen and or helium are used. Drowning remains the most common diving-related cause of death. Another important group of disorders present once the divers return to the surface, that is, the decompression illness, that is DCI, and the barotrauma. Now, what is decompression illness? Decompression illness includes the decompression sickness and arterial gas embolism. Decompression sickness, that is DCS, and the arterial gas embolism, that is AGE. The vast majority of the symptoms of DCI presents within 6 hours of the time. Exposure of individuals to increased partial pressures of the nitrogen results in additional nitrogen being dissolved in the body tissues. The amount dissolved depends on the depth or pressure and on the duration of the dive. On ascent, the tissue becomes supersaturated with nitrogen, and this places the divers at risk of producing a critical quantity of gas bubbles in the tissue if the ascent is too fast. The gas so formed may cause symptoms locally, peripherally, due to the bubbles passing through the pulmonary vascular bed or by embolization elsewhere. The arterial embolization may occur if the gas load in the venous system exceeds the lungs' abilities to excrete nitrogen. Now, assessment of the patient with decompression illness. The evolution can be progressive, static, relapsing, or spontaneously improving. The manifestation include pain, often in the larger joints, example shoulders and bends. The neurological manifestations with any deficit is possible. Audiovestibular manifestations like vertigo, tinnitus, nystagmus may mimic inner ear barotrauma. Pulmonary manifestations include chest pain, cough, hemoptysis, dyspnea may be due to arterial gas embolism. Cutaneous manifestation includes itching, erythema, and rashes. Lymphatic tender lymph nodes, edema. Constitutional manifestations includes headache, fatigue, and general malaise. Dive profile consists of the depth, the type of gas used, and the duration of the dive. Depth at which the individual is going, the type of gas that is used in the cylinders, and the duration of the dive. Next, we come to the barotrauma. During the ascent phase of the dive, the gas in the diver's lung expand due to the decreasing pressure. The diver must ascend slowly and breathe regularly. If the ascent is rapid or the diver holds his or her breath, the expanding gases may cause lung rupture, that is the pulmonary barotrauma. This can result in pneumomediastinum, pneumothorax, or AGE as a result of gas passing directly into the pulmonary venous system. Now, how to manage this condition? The patient is nursed horizontally and airway, breathing, and circulation are assessed. ABC is assessed, airway, breathing, and circulation. The treatment includes high flow of oxygen is given by the tight fitting mask using rebreathing bag. The fluid replacement, that is the oral or the intravenous, corrects the intravascular fluid loss from endothelial bubble injury and dehydration associated with immersion. The recompression, it reduces the volume of gas within the tissues. So this was all about this chapter. And the next lecture we are going to start with a new chapter, that is immunity disorders. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box and I'll try to resolve it. So this was all for today. Thank you very much. We will be meeting in the next lecture tomorrow.